Chapter 21. Welcome to All Celebrities Chapel, I said to a couple who wobbled through the door. They were in their late 20s and were hanging on to each other for vertical support. Both had the same vacant expressions. They gawked at me and giggled. I peered down at my white uniform to see if I had a stain. I couldn't see anything, so I chalked it up to there being a bottle of vodka passed sober. Since neither one could hold a pen, I helped fill in the forms. They only had to sign the bottom and were able to proceed. The woman touched her nose to the form.
Why does this line keep moving? How am I supposed to sign my name when the line moves?
I placed my hand on hers to steady the pen as she scribbled her name. The man wasn't much better, but was able to focus long enough to find the line. Harry Potter is the celebrity of the day. If you'll follow me, he will join you both in matrimony and a magical new future.
Harry Potter? How did he get here from Hogwarts?
The woman asked. He used the transporter, I said.
Hey, isn't the transporter on Star Trek?
The man asked. Uh-oh. I'd mix the two. He sometimes uses futuristic Muggle technology. It makes him remember his roots.
Yeah, he had a hard life.
I smiled and showed them the way to the chapel. Drunk people were the easiest clients by far. Harry Potter smiled at them from the end of the aisle. I pushed the play button for the music. The theme of the Harry Potter movies drifted through the speakers. Talk about an odd melody to march down the aisle to. The couple didn't mind. They drifted and bumbled to the music until they reached the end.
Can you turn me into a toad?
The man asked Harry Potter.
Of course,
Frankie said.
but it would ruin the honeymoon.
The man weighed the benefits of the honeymoon versus being changed into a toad and then nodded. I was about to lock the chapel for the night when a dark face appeared in the glass door. I nearly screeched from shock until I realized it was Remy. I opened the door to let him in.
Where have you been?
I've been working.
You were supposed to be at Grayson's.
I didn't know. No one told me.
He left you a note on the couch near Gus. He's been worried that Daegor nabbed you again. The police didn't arrest Daegor, and he's been seen around town. David's gone to Daegor's house and storage facilities to search for you.
The blood drained out of my head and straight into my go-go boots. Gus was chewing on a scrap of paper this morning. I threw it away. Remy shook his head.
Let's get out of here. We don't want Daegor to find you.
Let me change and then I'll bring Gus down.
We don't have time. Have Gus stay with Frankie.
Frankie heard his name and peeked into the front entrance. He was half out of his costume. Frankie, can you bring Gus down to your apartment tonight?
How am I supposed to pry his butt off the couch and down to my apartment?
Bait him with a hot dog. Frankie was revolted by the idea of hot dogs.
I don't keep hot dogs in my refrigerator.
I have a package in mine.
I think I might have some disposable gloves I can use to pick up the hot dog.
Make sure to lock your door tonight. Call the police if you hear any noises.
I can do that. I like a man in a uniform. Maybe I'll make a pre-emergency call just to make sure they have some decent-looking men on duty to rescue me.
Remy opened his mouth. Nothing came out. I hope you snag a few good ones, I said, opening the front door and shoving Remy out.
Is Frankie for real, or does he enjoy messing with people's heads?
Remy asked as we both jumped into Grayson's Ferrari. I wonder that myself sometimes. Remy shook his head and jammed his foot on the pedal. With the weight of Remy's foot, we made it to Grayson's house in record time. Remy dropped me off at the front door. As I neared the door to knock, it flung open and I was yanked inside.
Where the hell have you been? I've been going mad trying to find you.
I didn't know I was supposed to come here.
Didn't you read my note?
I think Gus ate it. He was chewing on a scrap of paper. There was only a little bit left by the time I found it, so I threw it away. Grayson scowled.
What about your cell phone?
Daegor's ogres smashed it last night.
You should have checked in with me today. Daegor is out on the streets, and David is looking for you.
I didn't know. I woke up to a deserted house without any messages. I assumed you went to work. I needed to work so I can pay for my car repair.
Where did you go? You weren't at the casino today.
I thought you needed space. I played at a casino down the strip. His brows arched in surprise.
Why would I need space? What I need is to keep you under house arrest until Daegor is off the hunt.
I don't know that much about you or your attention span.
What does that mean?
Well, I know you have a short attention span when it comes to women, but I didn't know how short. Does it require getting into their pants first? Technically, you've been in mine, but you haven't been on the receiving end. I didn't know if that counted. His hand shot to his forehead, most likely to fend off a growing headache.
I would never leave a woman in my house without letting her know where I was or what my plans were.
How was I supposed to know? He paced the floor and abruptly stopped.
I guess you wouldn't know. But next time, please give me the benefit of the doubt as to my intentions. I'm not a bad guy. I will always be honest with you.
Sure. I wasn't trying to avoid you. I just needed to work, and I figured you needed to work too. He touched my hand with his and gave me a kiss.
I need to call off David before he causes trouble.
Don't bother.
David said from the doorway.
Remy filled me in. I had already gone through Daegor's house and was on my way back when he called.
David ruffled my hair and gave me a hug.
You had us all worried.
Grayson glared at David for hugging me too long. David released me with a smirk aimed directly at Grayson. I'd have to ask Maya how she managed when she was stuck in the middle of these two. At least with David, I didn't have to worry about his intentions. David slipped a phone out of his pocket.
Here's a temporary phone. Do you want me to tuck it into your pocket?
My uniform doesn't have pockets.
I know. Neither did your red dress. You managed, however, to find a warm, cozy place for it.
He winked. I slid a peek at Grayson, who was gripping his last thread of patience. David chuckled.
This shit never gets old.
He slapped Grayson's back and dropped onto the couch. I eyed the two brothers and determined they could use a timeout. I'll call Frankie and see if he was able to herd Gus to his apartment. Grayson nodded and sank into the chair opposite David, glowering at him while I made my call. Hey, Frankie, were you able to bait Gus with the hot dog?
I'm a little tied up at the moment.
What about Gus?
Nadia, I'm literally tied up. A burly dude tied me to your chair and is shoving the phone in my ear. Dude doesn't know anything about tying knots. The Navy would weep. I'd be happy to show him my own style of knots, but he's not my type.
I heard a grunting sound in the background.
Yeah, keep your pants on.
Frankie said to the man.
I'm supposed to tell you to meet Daegor at his house in 30 minutes or you'll miss a loved one.
Frankie said.
Hey, big guy, I hope you're not meaning me. I'm not a loved one. I'm her manager. She hates me.
The line went dead. Daegor has someone, I said. I have to be at his house in 30 minutes. I tried to tuck the phone into my cleavage, but my hands were shaking. David and Grayson both jumped out of their seats.
Do you know who Daegor has?
David asked. I shook my head no.
Call everyone you can think of in Vegas that might be a target. I'll have Remy station himself in the area.
Grayson said.
We only have 10 minutes before you need to hit the road.
I don't like this. There isn't an easy way of rescuing her once she's inside his house. I was there when the house was empty. It's a labyrinth of rooms. I wouldn't be able to reach her if Daegor's men were there.
Don't think for a moment I want to send Nadia in there.
I ignored the boys and dialed Roy. He was the first Daegor had threatened. Roy answered and said he was at home. I tried a few acquaintances I suspected Daegor might know. They were all safe. Could he have nabbed Caleb? I wouldn't consider him a loved one, but Daegor wouldn't know. I dialed Caleb's number. I heard a woman giggling in the background as he answered. I hung up without talking to him. The bastard was obviously okay. My stomach tightened. Oh no. I dialed and waited.
Bingo,
Daegor said.
you better get here soon.
I'm on my way. If you hurt her, you'll regret it. I promise you will regret it. I hung up. Grayson and David stopped arguing and turned to me with expectant eyes. Give me your car keys, I said to Grayson. I need to go now.
Who does he have?
My voice hitched. Maya.